How long will you keep lying to yourself, buddy? How long? How many times have you told yourself every day that you will start studying from now on, that you will study for 10 hours from now, that you will stop using Reels, you will stop using YouTube, you will leave everything and focus on studies? How many times have you lied to yourself? If you're taking this 7-day challenge today, remember one thing. In these 7 days, many problems will come, many difficulties will arise, and whenever you feel demotivated, remember one thing. You took this challenge for yourself, for your self-respect, and for your parents. So, hey everyone, my name is Connor. There are so many students here who have come to this video because they want to know how to become a topper in the next 7 days. That's why you are here, right? You are thinking that Connor Sir will give us some magic formula today, and once we consume it, we will become toppers. This is what you are thinking. But my friends, I'm not going to tell you anything like that, where you will become a topper in just 7 days, because it's not possible to become a topper in 7 days. But in these 7 days, I'm going to tell you some habits. And if you follow these habits, in 7 days you may not become a topper, but you will ignite a fire within you, a fire that will be enough to burn the world. That fire will be enough to make you a topper in 1 or 2 months. Remember this. The 7-day challenge I am giving today, the roadmap I am about to give you, you need to follow it. And again, I'm saying that speaking alone won't help. You need to show it in action. Are you ready for the next 7 days? Only then should you watch this video. Otherwise, you can leave this video right now. Let me explain it with a small example. Let's take an example. There are 2 students. One is Sam, and the other is Jasm. Who are they? Sam and Jasm. Both are students of class 12. Now what happens is that both Sam and Jasm used to go to the same school. Their school was the same. They had the same coaching classes, the same tuition. They studied the same books. Sam studied for how many hours? He studied 6 hours a day. And Jasm studied for how many hours? 3 to 4 hours a day. Now, the 12th board results come, and the entire school is shocked. Why? Because the result of Jasm, who studied less, came out to be 95%, while Sam, who studied 6 hours a day, had a result of only 75%. Everyone was shocked. You must be shocked too. He studied 6 hours a day, but still got a lower score, and Jasm, who studied less, scored higher. Everyone was shocked and went to Jasm to ask, Jasm, tell us one thing. You studied less, but your score was so good. How did you do it? Do you know what Jasm said? Jasm said, there were some mistakes that Sam made and other students made, but I didn't make them. So Sam went to Jasm and asked, what were the mistakes I made that you didn't? Jasm said, I will tell you the mistakes you made in your preparation, and you are also making these 3 mistakes. If you understand the solution to these 3 mistakes, you will automatically come into the topper category. What are the mistakes? Mistake number 1, time management. See, Jasm says to Sam, tell me, how many hours did you study daily? Sam says, I studied for 6 hours every day. Jasm then asks, Tell me the truth. How many hours did you study? Sam says, I studied for 6 hours. Why would I lie? But Jason says, actually, you didn't study for 6 hours. Why? Because you wasted a lot of time on other things like phone distractions. How many times have you been studying and suddenly remembered that you need to check Instagram or something, and before you know it, you've spent 1 hour, 1.5 hours, or even 2 hours on it? Many times you are just sitting with the book open, but your thoughts are somewhere else, thinking about random things, about silly stuff. This happens a lot, right? So, Jessam was telling Sam that the first problem was time management. You think you're studying for 6 hours, but in reality, you're not. You're wasting your time. You make a timetable, but you can't follow it daily. And then at night, you regret it. This happens too, right? You make a timetable, but can't follow it. Then you think, I was supposed to finish 2 chapters of math today, but I only completed 1, and at night you feel frustrated. A lot of regret happens, right? It happens with everyone, and it happened with Sam too. Now, all these problems, I will tell you the solutions for each one, but first, let's discuss the problems. So, that was problem number 1. Now Sam says, okay, I understand this problem. Now, what do you think is the second problem? What is the second mistake? Then Jason starts speaking. Jason says, tell me one thing. How many times has it happened that you study well, you study properly, but when you sit for the exam, you start forgetting everything? Nothing comes to your mind. Your memory seems to be gone. You feel like you studied, but you can't remember. You start forgetting formulas. How many times does this happen to you? It happens, right? During the exam, when you sit, you can't recall things. How many times does it happen? Sam also says, yes, this happens with me a lot. It happens in every exam. So, do you know what Jessam says? Jessam says, it's not your mind's fault. It's not your memory's fault. The fault is in your learning techniques. You are trying to memorize things in the wrong way. If you knew the correct method for memorizing, you could remember everything even with less study. He says, the method will be explained later, at the end. So this was our mistake number 2. Now let's talk about mistake number 3. Now in this mistake, Jessam asks Sam, okay Sam, tell me, where do you think you waste most of your time during the day? Sam thinks for a bit and says, I play Free Fire. I do gaming. Most of my time is wasted on gaming. If I ask you too, where do you waste most of your time during the day? You would say gaming, or maybe planning with resources. Let me explain. Imagine you decide that you are going to study 1 chapter of science today. What do you do then? First, you search for which teacher you should study this chapter from. What is the mistake here? Sam used to do the same thing. He used to study 1 chapter from 1 teacher, the 2nd chapter from another teacher, and the 3rd chapter from yet another teacher. Why? Because of what? Can't we talk one-on-one? Is there no way we can ask personal doubts? So, look, for this, I am conducting a live session on our own website, and I will provide the link in the description. You can go there, and tomorrow, meaning Sunday, between 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., we will have a live session where I can talk to you one-on-one. Now, I'm conducting this live session on the website because I can't do it on YouTube. So make sure to join between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m., and there's also a surprise for you, which I will disclose at the end of this video. Now let's talk about the solutions. The first mistake, where you create a timetable but can't follow it, and then you regret it. What is the solution for that? Look, it's a very simple solution. You don't have to search for the reason you are getting distracted. Many students will say, "We get distracted because of the mobile phone, because of YouTube." The mobile phone that you are using right now, where you are watching Instagram reels, make that phone your weapon. How to do that? You need to listen carefully. I call this strategy the read it strategy. What you have to do is, imagine you study from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. I'm just taking an example. You study from 12 to 4. What you have to do is set an alarm every hour. Set an alarm every hour. I mean, set an alarm at 12 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3, and 3 to 4. Set an alarm on your phone with the title, "Hey, read it." So what will happen is, we can't eliminate distractions completely, but every time you get distracted and start using your phone, the alarm will ring. Imagine you are sitting to study at 12 p.m., but by 12:30 p.m., you get distracted and waste time. But at 1 p.m., the alarm will go off saying, "Hey, read it." You will realize, "Oh, I am wasting my time. I am wasting my time. How did I get here?" You will have self-realization, and you will go back to studying. This is the read it strategy. I'm giving you all these strategies, and you need to follow them for the next 7 days. If you are ready to follow them, then comment below saying, "Yes, I will follow." Please do that, because I genuinely believe you are ready. So for those who will follow these steps and after 7 days, if they have followed it, then write either under this comment that I have followed it, or you can also let me know on Instagram. The second problem was that we forget things. The reason for this is that your way of studying is very poor. Today, I'm going to tell you one method, the active recall method. Try this method for the next 7 days. What you need to do is imagine that you attended a physics class. You are either watching an online lecture or going to school or coaching classes. You are studying from somewhere. So, imagine you had a class on Chapter 1 of physics today. Now, as soon as your class finishes, or as soon as you return home, you have to spend just 10 minutes. Only 10 minutes. Quickly revise what your teacher taught you in those 10 minutes. You are probably taking notes, so quickly revise them in the next 10 minutes. What will happen by doing this? What will happen by doing this? In your memory, when your teacher taught you, things were already stored. But as soon as you revise them in those 10 minutes, those things will be stored in your long-term memory. This method is called the active recall method. What you need to do is, after your teacher teaches you, close the book, close the notebook, and close your eyes for a moment. Visualize what your teacher told you, and start thinking, "Oh, the teacher taught me about electricity in physics. He told me this and that." This is active recall. Once you follow this method, you won't even need to revise anymore. If you use the active recall method, you will remember everything. As soon as your lecture finishes, just spend 10 minutes on each subject. If you are preparing for JE, there are 3 subjects: physics, chemistry, and math. Spend 10 minutes on each subject, and suddenly you will recall everything. The problem of forgetting things will be solved. Now, let's talk about the third problem. We waste a lot of time in planning and searching for resources. I will tell you a simple strategy for that. The RQR strategy. What is it? The first R stands for resources. What are resources? The second Q stands for questions, and the third R stands for revision. Let me explain. Pay attention. For every subject, for example, if a 10th grade student is watching this video and their subject is math, they need to clear 3 steps. 1. Where will I study math from? What will be my main resource for math? Will I study from NCERT, from my tuition teacher, or from YouTube? 2. Where will I get my questions from? 3. Where will I revise from? Will I make my own notes, or will I revise from someone else's notes? Clear these 3 things for each subject right now. The major problems that you have, I have given solutions for all of them. Now it's your job to follow them. I can't make you follow them by coming to your house. It's simple. If you are ready to follow them, comment below saying, "I will follow this." Do it, because you genuinely need to follow these steps. Don't lie to yourself. You can lie to me, to your parents, but how long will you lie to yourself? One day, life will show you the mirror, and when that happens, it will hurt a lot when you realize that you wasted all those years. If I had worked hard, where would I be now? So, remember, don't lie to yourself. If you write, "Yes, I will follow this challenge today," then follow it for the next 7 days.